Business angles. And let's move on to another interesting art angle. This one in Media Watch with James Creedon, who's joined us on set. Good evening to you, James.
Good evening, Cyril.
François Hollande is in Washington, our big story today, amid rumors, false by all accounts, let me make that clear, of an affair between Barack Obama and Beyonce. Seriously,
right.
James, come on.
It's an interesting one to track how the rumor rose,
You're just doing your job,
and then
right?
fell. I'm just talking about the rumors in a very professional way, right? This we'll see in any case. But it started in the French media. It started with an interview by the paparazzo Pascal Roustan, who is a well-known paparazzo here in France. He spoke to the Swiss newspaper Le Matin. He then spoke to Europe 1 Radio. And all of this led to the rumors that we're seeing. Take a look at this headline in Cosmopolitan, for example. Beyonce and President Obama having an affair, says French photographer. So he claimed that the Financial Times and other newspapers are looking into the story, the fact that the first couple in the US are actually on the rocks, etc., and that once the facts were established, they would come out with the story. And in fact, that the Washington Post was due to run with the story tomorrow.
But this is what does he have any kind of evidence?
Well, according to him, he has sources who claim this. He has since, this afternoon, retracted all of those claims. So it's very unusual, odd behaviour, Cyril, for somebody who you might think want to maintain some sort of a credible reputation as a paparazzo, to speak to the Swiss media over the weekend, to speak to a reputable French radio station, Europe 1, this morning.
Take it all back.
And then take it all back. It's very strange. In any case, it did set the rumour flying. Le Figaro speaking here in this headline about the retraction. But earlier in the day, you had, as I said, Cosmopolitan and other media in Belgium, in as far away as Argentina, picking up on that story. So all of this, of course, as François Hollande jets in, without anyone accompanying him because of the private life rumours that dogged him for the last number of weeks. So certainly the timing of it makes it even more bizarre. And I think one thing that's worth pointing out is that The Economist ran with this piece back in a couple of weeks ago, saying, what if the French were to run America? And it was all our wildest fantasy.
I see Barack Obama and Jennifer Aniston. What is the article saying?
The article is saying, imagine our wildest fantasy if the French were to run America, all very hypothetical here, is if the Washington Post were to run with a story that Barack Obama and Jennifer Aniston. And then you hear these rumours coming out of the French media that are almost as far-fetched, right? But it does appear to be entirely without any foundation.
Okay, tell us about the real story that was really published in the Washington Post today. Not about Barack Obama, but by Barack Obama.
That's right, because many, including myself, many journalists got onto the Washington Post today saying, hey, any truth in all of this at all? Are you running with this big story tomorrow? And universally, the story was no. The only thing you're going to find in the Washington Post today with about these two guys is an op-ed that they both penned. France and the US enjoy a renewed alliance, saying pretty much everything you would expect them to say, Cyril, that they're fantastically good friends the last 200 years. They have their ups and downs. Who would have thought 10 years ago that they would be so tight on so many areas of policy as they are now, etc., etc. So that's what you're seeing. And perhaps as a sign of that friendship, I think the Twitter Guillaume Tessé is his name. He does these blends, right? And here you can see Barack Obama mashed up.
Is that a what would you call that? An Hollande Obama?
An Hollande Obama, and that's the upside down version of it. So perhaps the friendship has got so close that this.
I think one of them clearly benefits from the mix, but I think
it goes better one way than the other for sure.
All right, you're also looking this evening at troubles at the French left-leaning daily Libération. Over the weekend, journalists went head-to-head with shareholders.
That's right. Now, the front page of Saturday's Libération after a strike on Thursday was this. Let's take a look at this front page. We are a newspaper, not a restaurant, not a social media, not a cultural space, not a TV, not a bar, etc., etc. Now, what is all that about? It's about a head-to-head between the journalists and the shareholders. The shareholders of Libération want to take the city centre headquarters and turn it into a cultural space. And this is abhorrent to Libération journalists who do not want to be moved out into the suburbs. They hate the plan to turn the city centre offices into something akin to a café floor of the 21st century. Now, the newspaper, as you know, was set up by Jean-Paul Sartre, and Café Flore on the left bank was
famously frequented.
That's right. And so their whole idea is to take the whole notion of what this left-wing newspaper is, the image, the brand, and to make a lot of money out of it by using its city centre headquarters, and possibly even to take the newspaper and to turn it into a platform online, as opposed to a newspaper that has about 100,000 readers every day. So the journalists are appalled. They've had access to communications from from the I suppose the owner of the paper, and they feel that this is just purely a business plan, and that journalism is being lost in the process. So this is quite an open spat. They've even set up this Tumblr account, We Are a Newspaper, with all sorts of elements on it, showing photos of protesting journalists and all sorts of stuff. So it's one that will run and run, but very much an example of the troubles that the print press is going through at the moment.
All right, we're a newspaper, not a cafe or a cultural space.
Exactly.
Valid point. James Creedon with
Thanks,
Media
sir.
Watch. Thank you very much. All right, do stay tuned to France 24. We'll be bringing you another full roundup of world news in just a few minutes. African news will follow with Eve Irvine.